Okay, this lesson is lesson 12-1, angle relationships. I truly love doing this kind of thing. It lends itself to good problem solving. The problem with this lesson is that there's lots of vocabulary, and you have to be able to keep the vocabulary straight. Okay, so first, we're going to talk about what we talk about when we're talking about angle relationships. So we're talking about when you have a set of parallel lines meaning they're lines that don't intersect. We've talked about that before, and they are shown, and this stuff is new, or it's not new to you, this is a review. Parallel lines are indicated with that arrow, and then you have perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines are indicated with that square, meaning it creates a 90-degree angle. We're going to be talking about a line that intersects two or more parallel lines. That line is called a transversal. So the transversal, usually they label it T, just like they did in the diagram below. The transversal is a line that intersects or cuts apart a set of parallel lines. And a lot of times it's two, although later on when you get into geometry it can be more than two. But usually for the most part it's two. Corresponding angles are a set of angles that we're going to talk about. Corresponding angles are in the same position along the transversal on the opposite parallel line. Okay, that's what corresponding angles are. They are in the same position along that transversal, but on the opposite parallel line. So if you start at the top parallel line, you look at the bottom. If you start at the bottom, you look at the top for your corresponding angle. So here you have the green equals the green, red equals the red, blue equals the blue, and purple equals the purple. Those are corresponding angles. So in this example, I show you with numbers. So 1 equals 1, 2 equals 2, 3 equals 3, 4 equals 4. 1 and 1 are corresponding, 3 and 3 are corresponding, 2 and 2 are corresponding, 4 and 4 are corresponding. You can see it's at the same spot on the parallel line, the opposite parallel line against the transversal. You will also, in this section, need to know what we talked about in the last chapter, back in chapter, I think it was chapter 7, when we were talking about angles and triangles. So you're going to need to know complementary angles, supplementary angles, and vertical angles in order to be able to do what we're going to do today. Okay, so if you look, I want you to pause your computer, and I want you to, knowing what you know about corresponding and what you know about vertical, supplementary, and complementary angles, I want you to try to tell me what the measure of angle 1 and angle 2 is and explain your reasoning. Okay, so I want to know the reason or the vocabulary word that lets you know that that's the degree that it is. So pause your computer and do that and then come back. Okay, angle 1 is 63 degrees. We know that angle 1 is 63 degrees because they are corresponding angles. 1 and the 63 correspond to each other. So those are equivalent. Corresponding angles are equal angles. Angle 2 is 117 degrees because angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary angles. And that means that they're going to equal, when you add them together, they equal 180 degrees. Therefore, 180 minus the 63 of angle 1 is going to give you 117 degrees. So angle 2 is 117 degrees. That's what you're going to have to do today. Okay? You're going to have to tell me a measurement, and you're going to have to be able to tell me why. And you don't have to write all of this out. You just have to say that angle 2 is 117 degrees because they're supplementary angles. 1 and 2 are supplementary angles. That's what you have to do. And you should identify the angle. You don't have to show anything beyond that, beyond this part. The and the addition and subtraction, you don't have to show that. You can do that in your calculator. Okay, so we also want to talk about vertical angles. We've talked about vertical angles before. Vertical angles are kitty corner angles, right? They're opposite, and we know that they're equal. So therefore, in this diagram, angle 1 is 75 degrees because it's a vertical angle to 75. And you also know that angle 4 is 75 degrees because 1 and 4 correspond to each other. Therefore, you know that 6 is 75 degrees because 6 and 4 are vertical. And you also know that 7 then is 105 because 6 and 7 are corresponding, or are, I'm sorry, supplementary, so they equal 180. So you take 180 minus 75, you get 105, which means that 5 then is 105 because 5 and 7 are vertical angles, okay? And therefore 2 is also 105 because 2 and 5 are corresponding angles. And then because you know that, then you also know that 3 is 105 because 3 is a vertical angle to 2. That's kind of what you're going to be doing. But you have to be able to tell me why. And in a lot of cases, there are lots of reasons why, and it's going to be multiple, and that's okay. But you have to be able to justify it with your reasoning, okay? So I would like you to do number 3. So for number 3, you, on your own, pause your computer, you need to list all of the angles, angle 1 through 7, and you need to tell me a reason why it is the measure that you believe it is, okay? Okay, so what you're going to do is we're going to look at the different angles, 1 through 7, and we're going to determine what their measurement is. You should have this finished already before you get the answers, because I really want to make sure that you understand it, okay? Okay, so angle 1 is 121 degrees. We know that this one's 59. Angle 1 is 121 degrees because it's supplementary to the 59 degree angle. Therefore, angle 2 is also 59 degrees because it's vertical, okay? And angle 3 then is 121 degrees because it's vertical, okay? Angle 4 is 121 degrees because angle 4 and angle 1 are corresponding angles, okay? So once you know that, then you know that angle 5 is 59 degrees because it's supplementary, and angle 6 is 121 degrees because it's vertical from angle 4, and angle 7 then is 59 because angle 6 and 7, angle 6 and 7 are supplementary. I put corresponding. 7 is corresponding to 2 as well. That's another, so let's give you a reason. You could have here, you could say supplementary, or you could say here they are corresponding, okay? Or you could say here they're vertical. There are 3 different reasons you could put down, okay? All right, we're moving on to the next item. So the next thing is something that's called interior and exterior angles. Interior angles are formed on the inside of the 2 parallel lines along the transversal. Exterior angles are formed on the outside of the parallel lines on the transversal. So the blue angles are interior, the red angles, numbered angles, are exterior in this diagram. Well, now, the thing about interior and exterior angles, why are they important? Alternate interior angles are equal angles. So angle 3 and 6 are equal because they are alternate. They're opposite of each other along the transversal. Okay, and therefore angle 4 is going to equal angle 5 because, again, they're alternate interior angles along the transversal. You also have alternate exterior angles that are equal. So angle 2 is going to equal angle 7 because opposite the parallel of the transversal, opposite sides of the transversal, outside of the parallel lines are equivalent. Therefore, then angle 8 is going to equal angle 1 for the same reason. Now, when we talk about alternate exterior and alternate interior angles, alternate means that it's on the opposite side of the transversal with the parallel line. So either inside or outside. So if it's interior, it's opposite the transversal inside. If it's exterior, it's alternate opposite the transversal outside. Okay? Okay. So let's, and they go into this right here. So they talk about alternate interior angles and alternate exterior angles, and they show you the picture. So again, the blue matches the blue, the red matches the red. Those are alternate interior. The blue matches the blue, the red matches the red. Those are alternate exterior. Okay, and alternate angles are equal angles. Alternate interior, alternate exterior angles are equal angles. Okay, so if we look at this diagram, I want you in this diagram to pause your computer, and I want you to do 5, 6, and 7, and I want you to tell me the measure of 5, 6, and 7 using everything that we talked about: alternate interior, alternate exterior, vertical, supplementary, complementary, corresponding. I want you to use those terms and telling me what the measures of angle 3, 5, and 6 are, and make sure you justify it with your reasoning. Okay? Pause your computer and then come back. Okay. Angle it tells you that angle 4 is 84 degrees. If angle 4 is 84 degrees, then angle 3 is going to be 96 degrees. And the reason that angle 4 and 3 are related is because angle 3 is supplementary to angle 4. So they're supplementary angles. So we know that it's 96 degrees, okay? Now, angle 6, or number 6, angle 5. We want to know what angle 5 is. Angle 5 is 84 degrees. We know that angle 5 is 84 degrees because angle 4 and angle 5 are alternate interior angles, and alternate interior angles are equal angles. So therefore, that is 84 degrees. Okay, now we need angle 6. Angle 6 is alternate exterior to angle 3. 6 and 3 are alternate exterior, opposite sides of the transversal outside the parallel lines. And alternate exterior angles are equal, so therefore angle 6 is 96 degrees. If you got this right, then you can move on. If not, you need to rewatch that because that's super important, okay, that you understand it. Vocabulary is key here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so what I'd like you to do for practice is I would like you to do number 5 and I would like you to do number 11, okay? I would like you to do number 5 and I would like you to do number 11. For number 11, you need to explain it. Give me a reason, okay? Okay.